All right, in this video we're going to talk about how to set up the bow hold correctly. This is one of the most important things we do because if we get this correct, everything builds from here. This is really your foundation. And of course, what we are going to do is ingrain this correct position and the correct loose feeling of the fingers through just constant repetition and isolating it in the beginning. So in other words, we're not going to try to put it together with anything too quickly. We're going to just get used to really making sure it becomes a good habit. And then from there, you're all set as you develop as a violinist. So the first thing that we need to do is take your thumb and make sure that your thumb really has that nice curve, that we're going to really let the thumb curve in a very loose way, feeling like your entire thumb is loose all the way down here. Next, we're going to take a pencil, and you can put it on your left hand. We're going to take the thumb and the second finger, and we're going to come down here with those two curved, and like a forklift, we're going to pick up the pencil and then drop it again. Okay, so the thumb and the second finger, we're going to pick up the pencil. And this right here is going to be the center of balance for your hand. All right, so I'm going to put the pencil down. Now, so after you've done that and kind of gotten used to that, now we can do it actually with the bow. So here is the way we want to do the bow hold. We'll take your hand, first of all, and let it just drop from a very loose wrist. And you see how my fingers, when they just drop and they're loose, they don't reach out or anything like that. That would be with tension. That would be the fingers are actually doing something. This way, the fingers are just dropping and resting. And that's basically our bow hold. And what we can do is take that right there, and then just take your thumb and again touch that second finger. So it looks like this if I do it from this angle. But see, I'm completely loose with the rest of those fingers. They're just relaxed, okay? So that's our second step after the pencil. Now we'll take the hand and again loosen it up. And now we're going to turn your palm up, keeping the fingers in that completely loose position. And I'm going to bring the bow in. This is what you can do if you're a parent working with your child. This is what you can do for your child who is beginning. If you're an adult beginner, you can do this with the bow in your other hand coming in. But we're going to put the bow right there at the base of the finger, right where your finger begins, right there. And the first step, what we're going to do is get the thumb curved and coming right down on this metal strip. So you can see all the other fingers are resting. The thumb is at the metal strip, and the thumb, notice it's kind of pointing toward the bow hair. Now, once we get the thumb curved and we're making sure it's completely loose, we're making sure these other fingers have not gotten tight. They're still very, very loose. Now, I'm just going to take that second finger and line it up with the thumb. It doesn't have to touch, but it's just going to line up like we did before with the pencil. The third finger is going to just curl around. The pinky finger is going to go right up on the tip, and it's going to be about where the end of the frog here. It's going to line up, so it's not going to be out past the end. The first finger now, we're going to take and go right between these first two joints, and it's just going to rest there. So you can see what that looks like now. I have basically equal distance between each finger, but what I've done is really not tried to set fingers in a particular place. I've tried instead to just keep this and then just let it curl around the bow. And it's very important that you don't allow those fingers to start to squeeze, because that's going to take away the springiness that we need to play. If you start to squeeze, the bow is going to be very hard to control and the sound will go away. So again, going through that one more time, we'll shake the bow hold out. We'll shake your hand out, and get everything loose. Turn it over without changing the feeling of the fingers. Bring the bow right into the bottom of your fingers, right there. Set the thumb first, right there on the tip. The second finger lines right up. And I'm just sort of letting them curl. I'm not really changing anything. And then the first finger can gently just rest right there. Watch that the first finger doesn't wrap around and squeeze. We want it to just rest right there at the top. So here's what it looks like. And I'm going to take it from this angle, show you from this angle. Eventually, if you've looked at violinists playing, you'll notice that eventually what we do, this is to get the flexibility of the thumb. Eventually it's going to go inside, but that will be after this really gets set very well. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, first of all, once we get that set, we want to just shake out and reset. And I think it's just the repetition of resetting with that feeling of not letting the fingers squeeze or change this feeling. You want to see if you can hold it in the air for maybe first maybe 10 seconds, then 30 seconds, then maybe a minute, and then maybe longer. And you may notice that the pinky wants to go straight and the thumb wants to go straight. What we want to do, assuming that you still have the relaxed feeling in the hand, is just reset them all the time. So parents who are working with children, it's your job to watch the minute that this goes out, we just reset it. So it's this feeling, this constant shaping. That's how we develop this good habit that will get used to that staying all the time. When we get to the point where there's tension there, just shake it out. Even if it's after a couple seconds, just shake it out and then try it again, really making sure that you don't squeeze at all. Now, after that sort of getting set, what we can do is some exercises that where we can work on just getting the sense of balance and flexibility in these fingers. And the first exercise we can do, I'm going to back up so you can see me. I'm going to start with my thumb right by my nose here, and we'll just go down and up. And we're going to try to keep the tip of the bow as straight as possible while we do this. Now notice that as I'm doing this exercise, we have to make sure the wrist is really loose, the elbow is really loose, and the shoulder's very loose. So we can sort of build that up by reaching up with your right arm and then dropping it into this position. So you're going to feel the shoulder letting go, the bounciness of the elbow right there, right about where it's going to be when we're going to play, and the wrist is completely floppy. Okay? So you can do that a couple times, feeling that drop and letting go. When we play, when we put the bow on the string, it's going to be that relaxed shoulder weight, maybe that even comes from your back, down through your arm, going into the string with all that springiness. That's what's going to give you a really big focused sound. And so there's no effort at all. Now, so I'm going to do very quickly, because there's a lesson coming, I'm going to do very quickly these exercises. So it's down and up, and we're going to try to keep the bow as straight as possible, the tip of the bow. And notice that the wrist is always staying loose, the elbow is staying right about here. Then we're going to do circles where you trace your face. Again, the bow stays straight up in the air. I'm going to come down so you can sort of see the tip of the bow staying straight. And then little circles around your nose, big circles, the whole arm moving together right from your shoulder, elbow, middle of the hand, and the bow all moving together. Then we can go push, pull. So your body stays straight and you push as far as you can in front of you and back. Then we do windshield wipers, where the bow comes down and it is parallel to the ground, and we come back up, down, back up, down, back up, and always watching that the pinky is staying curved and the thumb is staying curved, up and down. And those are basically our exercises. Now what you can do is shake it out as much as you need in between those exercises. And whenever it starts to look tight, make sure you shake it out. But try to do those and keep the fingers curved for as long as possible as you're doing the exercises that are putting different emphasis. I'll do one more, and that is the spider, where we go up with the first finger and the thumb all the way up to the top, and then the pinky and the thumb on the way down. Pinky, thumb, and the others sort of scoot down. This is really good for the flexibility of the fingers. It will be slow in the beginning, but eventually it'll get fast, like what I'm doing. And in our group class, we have races with the spider race, so you'll want to get very fast at this so you can win the race. All right, good luck with the bow hold. Happy practicing.